Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today I am looking at theta, and I want you to look at this chart, and I want you to tell me, do you think it's bullish or do you think it's bearish? Now, the only way to know if it is or it isn't is to sort of compare what it did last time. It's really the only sort of way, other than the impeccable, undeniable, unbelievable fundamental utility value of the asset itself. Totally different discussion, but let alone on, aside from all of that, what do you think is happening on this chart? So I would look at this as your sort of accumulation, and this is your breakout, right? And it's sort of the same thing what's happening now. Now you can see, just sort of overlaid a little channel here, descending channel, right? You could see the price came out of it a little bit, came right back up, went sideways, right? Same thing here, you broke out of it a little bit, came up, went sideways, and then you can see we had this pump up and then a quick crash. Kind of like over here, you had this pump up and then a quick crash. Now it's smaller because, we're on log scale, so every time, you're going up the chart, it becomes magnified, right? Well, the opposite of magnification. So basically, if I zoom in here, you can kind of see, boom, and boom, something like that, right? So the big question is, where's theta going? Well, I've always said, you can see this black arrow right here. Since that black arrow, about 64 cents or so, I've always been saying, it's when my videos really came out, is right at that arrow. And ever since, I've been saying, look, I believe, I could be wrong, not financial advice, but I really believe we are heading up into these retracement levels somewhere up in here. Now, I don't know exactly where, but this was a down move, and it needs to correct this down move by retracing it. So that's usually what happens. Now, what happens after that retracement is really anybody's guess, and we can get into that later. But instead of predicting I don't really do predictions on the show. I mean, I give ideas and sort of lean certain ways. Don't really like saying the word prediction, but it is what it is, because nobody knows for sure. We can all make assumptions, right? But basically, if I'm expecting this, right, if I'm thinking we're going to get up here, then that's one move, right? Now, if I'm thinking we're going to break out, that's a second move. So instead of guessing or assuming 2 steps ahead, I'm just gonna assume 1, right? That's all I need is 1. Once we get there, once we get there, I'm gonna think, okay, now where are we heading from there? Because from here you can either A, B, C, which would be terrible and bad, but hey, it is what it is. I don't think that's going to happen, by the way, but it could, right? We can come all the way down and back test this level down in here, which is possible, which would be an A, B, and then we come down here and C, and then we go, right? That's possible, but there's no reason for me to assume that or guess that until we get up here. Okay, the second way, right, is obviously, your sideways base. your rise, your crash, your retrace. You come down for reaccumulation, you go sideways. You're basically a base on top of this base, right? And then you go. So basically rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, go. I've already mentioned that a bunch of times. So if you've seen the theta videos, you know that. So what else? What now? What's new? What's fresh? What can we think of? If you want more of that detail and you haven't watched any of the theta videos, instead of me going over it, because it takes time, these videos are long. They're not like normal videos where I do a 10-minute video or a 12-minute video. I'm spitting out, 6 videos in one video, right? So usually people on YouTube, for the algorithm, right? Because it's, for most people, definitely most people, it's mostly about the views and the likes and the comments, and the way they do that is the algorithm, and the way they do that is an 8-minute, 10-minute, 12-minute video. That's usually the algorithm's best friend. And if people see an hour-long video, they're not likely to click it, but I do it anyway because this is crypto, and this is my investment, and this is my baby, right? If you're investing in crypto, it's a big thing. Depending how much money you have in it, depending how serious you are in it. But to me, this is the golden ticket to getting into a better financial situation for me and my family. And I'm assuming, that is the same case for many people out there, right? I mean, why bother with crypto if you don't believe and have conviction that it's gonna, pay off? So in order for it to pay off, you got to have, some knowledge. You got to have background information. You got to figure out where you are in these different phases. You got to know, certain things. And you can't really get that, in my opinion, in a 10-minute video. So, how you invested in crypto, but you got to also, for me, invest time, right? Time and knowledge. So the more information I can get out, the better off, it is, right? Because the more information, the better. Rather, depending if you agree with it or not, that's up for you. But that's why you have many, many different channels with many, many different opinions, right? And you all watch different videos and then you formulate your own opinion, or that's at least what I do. So I'm thinking, this is your baby, this is your investment, this is your ticket to a financial step up, or even potentially financial freedom. You're gonna want as much knowledge as you can get. And the only reason I'm doing these videos is because I think I can provide an angle where I notice it's missing on crypto YouTube, at least from what I've seen. So, and that's sort of why I'm doing these videos. So that being said, if you're a theta hodler believer and you haven't seen it, I highly recommend going back, go on my channel, go back in time, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and sort of, watch those videos. I mean, that will really go in depth, more than I'm going to do today. Today's just, sort of an update on where we are. But if you want a thorough analysis, overview, definitely go back and check out the previous videos that I've done. So that being said, again, I think we are getting up here somehow, some way. Now, I don't know how we're going to get there, but I believe we will get there. So basically, I've been looking at this, right, as a Wyckoff accumulation. So this whole thing is a sideways accumulation base, kind of like how this was in here. This was a Wyckoff accumulation base, right? So we have, instead of me bringing up the example, is basically Wyckoff accumulation is like this. It looks like an M, and then it comes down, takes out the low, and then it goes. And then it does this, and then it goes. That's usually what it is, right? It's, you know, sometimes it can stop here if it's a different schematic, but a lot of times it takes out the low. The reason it does that is it grabs the liquidity, makes people go short, people get bearish when you break the low, then it flips and it reverses and then it accelerates. So that being said, this to me is the same as this, but a lot bigger. So we'll get into that too, but first, you know, where are we in this sort of, you know, puzzle? Well, you can see here what happened. We had a Wyckoff accumulation. We came down into the spring. We accelerated to the upside. We broke above the downward resistance line, right? Just like here. We broke above it. Then, sorry, the most important thing, right? The most important thing is what happens after that. So you have an impulse, and you can see here the bull market support band. So let me zoom in on that. So basically here, I just brought it up anyway, Wyckoff accumulation, you have this three-way move to the upside, three-way move to the upside. You have a down move, you have a down move. You have this move here without taking out the high. Same thing here, this up move here without taking out the high. Then here's to me, the most important part, which is the spring phase. You come all the way down, right? This one, same thing. Mark up, you're methodically and correctively, you know, chopping around, finally hit that low, which is that spring phase. You grab the liquidity, and then you quick impulse to the upside. And then boom, 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 you sort of consolidate in here. That's sort of what happened here. Also, you can see this orange band that's going up, 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 up. You can see how we almost tested it, and that's the most important thing. We broke above the channel, broke above the downward resistance line, and broke above the bull market support band, back tested it almost, right? Consolidated just like over here, and then that was the next impulse. So knowing that information, we can come over here and kind of see, you know, the same type of thing happening potentially, right? So again, covered it before, but for those of you who don't know, just to recap, same thing here. We have this move to the upside, then back down. It's sort of like a descending accumulation schematic, not really flat. If you look at Theta Fuel, it's cleaner, I think, but it's basically the same. So, you know, you have this 1, 2 all the way down, right? All the way down. Then you come back up without taking out the high. Same thing here. You come up without taking out the high. Then you go into your spring phase. Same thing here. You go into your spring phase. Then what happens? You take out the low, right? Same thing here. You take out the low or come close to it. Then right after that, you instantly impulse to the upside. Same thing here. You impulse to the upside. And now look at that. It's sort of the same thing. We broke above the channel, number one, the downward resistance line. We broke above the bull market support band. And now we're sort of back testing it, consolidating, going sideways. And that's exactly the recipe needed to get a bigger move coming in the works. That's the sort of the environment that you need. And that's the environment we have, because if you look here, same thing, right? You had the same Wyckoff accumulation, right? You broke above, impulse to the upside. Now we're going sideways. So this sideways movement right here is the same as this right here. And this sideways movement is the same as this, is the same as that. So basically, you know, we're just correcting, right? We're correcting, and we're basically potentially gearing up for a higher move to the upside. So I can even, just for fun, right, take you know, a bars pattern or a fractal. I mean, and sorry, I thought I hit pause. I didn't. It's been a long day and also a long night. So you know, here's a fractal pattern right here. You know, so something like that, comparing it back to over here, and that's what I'm thinking is going to happen here. So what else is happening? Well, I'm thinking, again, we're right in here, and it's really about clearing this Wyckoff accumulation range that we're in. So we're down in here. I would probably put it there, and essentially we spring to the upside, boom, 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 correct some more, and then we can get out of here. Right, so I'm looking at this as a wave 1, wave 2, and now we're gearing up for wave 3 potentially. The question is, how's that going to look? Well, and we got to zoom in for that so we can see. So again, the big question is, you know, when are we going to get out of here? When's this correction going to be over? Well, you can see we got a nice pump here. We haven't tested the bull market support band yet. Let's zoom in here. Now, on the previous beta video, I think a couple videos ago, or when Bitcoin basically had this sudden dump, I said, hey, look out for that, right? When we were up here, I said, hey, this could be a flat. And basically, you know, it's still in that flat working mode. And essentially, it's an A. All of this is B, right? And it makes you think that, hey, we're going to continue going, but really it's 1 high, 2 high, 3 highs. It's 3 drives to a high. I think that's how they say it. But basically, this is the B wave. So it's sort of like this is a fake out. So when Bitcoin was there, I said, hey, you know, it could be a flat here. And sure enough, what happened? We came back down into, we're coming back down into that C wave, right? So the big question is the C wave finished? So zooming in even closer, it doesn't seem like it is, but again, it could be. You know, the more you zoom in, the trickier it becomes. You know, you could say that could be, well, this could be over here 1, 2, all of this is 3, 4, and now we might need one more wave to the downside, come down for 5, or it could be finished now. So maybe something like this, where, you know, we had this impulse down, we're going flat, we come up, we retrace this move here, so we'll come up, retrace it, and then come back down for wave 5. That's something. Now again, this is not financial advice, I could be totally dead wrong, but it's just an idea, contingent that we're still working this flat, which appears to be, you know, because the way it checks out all the requirements check out. So we could see something like this, and then also I would like that too, because then you come down and you test the bull market support band. You see here we broke above it, we corrected, right? So a lot of people thought, okay, we're moving higher, this is a good thing, right? We're moving higher, and it is, but at the end of the day, this was just a correction that took out the high, and now it's finishing the correction A, B, C. So I would say the buy zone is somewhere in here, right? We're above the bull market support band. We're coming, here's your low, right? It's okay if we take out this low, we just don't want to take out that low. We could take out this low, it'd be more of like an expanded flat, right? I think right now it looks more like a running flat, right? So it's getting a run on. So yeah, that's sort of all I got for you for theta. We're still working that flat from yesterday. I'm trying to do a short video. I already put out a video today that was over an hour. So I had a long day prior to that too. So it was an XLM video. So if you're interested in XLM, go ahead and take a look at it. And what's good for XLM is good for theta. So basically, real quick to summarize, you have from the beginning your concrete foundation, your flagpole in the concrete foundation. This is your base, right? So you have a rise, a crash, a retrace. Now this retracement can turn into a new bull run, or the retracement can come down, go into reaccumulation, and then go into a new bull run, sort of like a cup and a handle, or better yet, like a W pattern. And the XLM video really highlights that too. So it's like this and like that. Same thing, here's Bitcoin, where it's W pattern, right? So you have the high, you have a lower high, you have this down move, right, in the shape of a W. So it also kind of looks like a cup and handle, but more than that, it's like a W shape. So essentially theta can be somewhere in here, right? So I'm thinking theta is somewhere in here. So we still got some work to do. Now we don't have to go through all that. I'm not saying that's the case. We can easily just continue marching higher and break out, but usually you go into a retracement and then some type of reaccumulation. That's usually what happens. So how's that going to look for theta? Well, again, you have your base, your rise, your crash. You have another base. This base is telling me, just like this base right here, you see the base? We went up. The bigger the base, the higher in space, right? We have this base, which led to a breakout. We have another base, and you can say, well, this is going to lead to a big breakout, and that's totally possible. But I'm not saying that's going to happen. What I'm saying, first, let's get first back into the retracement levels, which still is a big percentage, a massive gain on our portfolios. Just getting, not even going into a new bull run, just getting into the retracement level would significantly, 3, 4, 5x our portfolio, just right there, right, for theta. And then come down like that shape of the W, like this, and then we go up. So you got that W shape, just like Bitcoin, just like Ethereum, just like XLM, right? The difference is, right, XLM is more over here. So here's the XLM chart right here, and you can see, right? So think about, you have your rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, then you go sideways, and then theoretically you should start to take off soon, right? So theta, is over here. Now you can say, well, why is theta here and XLM's over here? Because XLM never went on a bull run, right? It's been going sideways for the last 6 years, so it's been torturous, right? So while the whole market was going in a massive bull run, XLM was barely going into a retracement. So now the tables are potentially going to reverse. Now theta is just going to go in a retracement, and XLM can have that bull run that needs, you know, basically catching up to theta in its phases, right? Because it's all about where you are in the phases. So partly why I'm very bullish right now at the moment, XRP and XLM, because of that reason. Now it could be the evil coin or the banker coin or whatever, but I'm not looking at it from that perspective. I'm looking at it from where we are in the chart, where we are in the phases, where we are essentially in the bigger picture. And if you look, like I said, this thing's going sideways for 6 years, and it's only had one bull run. So what does this have to do with theta? Well, it helps paint the picture of where theta is in the cycle itself. You know, just like painting the picture with Bitcoin. Whenever, you know, when Bitcoin had its bull run, it had its crash, and then it started going its retracement. Everybody thought, hey, we're going to go out and break new all-time high. But, you know, the market maker's like, no, not so fast. You know, this was just to lure people into the market, this big pump. This right here is where all the accumulators accumulated, right? So, you know, you have this boom. It sort of looks like this. So if we paint that on the theta chart, you could see, right, it still needs to come up, and then some sideways action here, right, and then go. Now the sideways action can go down like this. There could be many different ways it can happen. You know, reaccumulation's tough to know how it goes down, but essentially we don't need to worry about that yet, because the main thing is, where are we going next? And I believe, like I've said many times, since theta was at 64 cents, we're going up here. Now, the way this becomes different is if this is sort of a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, but I don't really like that, because this wave took out the degree of this wave. So it really wouldn't make sense. I guess it's still possible, right, if we come down and take the low out. But even if we did take out this low, I still think it would be some sort of bigger flat pattern at play, like a, you know, a 1, 2, 3. So maybe something like this, where you have 1, 2, 3, and then you go up in 5. Oh no, I'm sorry. Then you go up in 3 again. 1, 2, 3. Then you come down in 5, and then you shoot way up. And when you shoot up, I mean way up. So anyway, do I think that's going to happen? It's no point in entertaining that. I mean, obviously it's possible, but I'm not going to entertain it until we break the low. But until now, everything is painting just like this right here. To me, looks just like right here. So let's get through this correction and let's see what happens. Now, the way it starts to become different is if we start, you know, breaking lower and lower and lower. Now, we do have a lot of wiggle room, right? We could come lower. So we could do, you know, A, B, and then come all the way down to C between 86 cents. Don't want to break 70 really, but I guess you can. You know, I'm thinking here, right here. Show you. So you have this range right here. Now we could come all the way down and back test this range. So if I bring the range out and I extend it, you know, we consolidate in a range, we break out of the range, then we come all the way back down, we back test the range, and then we go. That's certainly possible. But again, I'm not entertaining it until we break below the bull market support band. A lot of different things can happen. Or more likely is this range up here. So you can see this top right here, right? We broke above, the price broke above this top, and then we come back down, we back test the top, so that's about 83, 84 cents. So as long as we're above 83, 84 cents, there's nothing to worry about. It's just, to me, it's DCA, dollar cost average, right? So again, ABC, back test the range, and then go. Those are your two sort of bearish short-term ideas that will lead into a big bullish idea. The ultimate, bullish idea would be the idea I had earlier, which is to suggest that this is a flat, right? So let me take all that off. Basically A, B, and then C, come down here, tag the bull market support band, and then start accelerating to the upside. So, I can go, 30, we're at 30 minutes, so, I wish I could do an hour video and continue to go more in detail, but I don't have the time today. I will definitely do that on the next video. And then also I want to go over the theta versus BTC chart that I've been looking at. But I thought, let's just do a quick theta update and, explain where we are. We're still holding in this area in here. So right in here, we're holding into this range. So let's see if we can get out of here. And I think we will. Now, here's my last idea, and I haven't brought this idea up, and it's just sort of the same thing. And it's basically, I don't know if you've seen Blockchain Backer, but he has a 7-wave bottoming theory, and I really like that idea. And basically, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Boom, we got it. So then we have that first initial impulse to the upside, and then we do something like this, where it takes forever. It takes forever. It could take another 6 months of this, of just going down. And then we get that big move up. So that is sort of a big potential. So if that happens, if we start, let me go down to the daily, because this is the weekly chart too, by the way. If I go down to the daily and I say, hey, this thing can just do this for the next 6 months, torture, right? And then go up. If that's the case, it doesn't matter. I'm still expecting retracement levels, no matter how you look at it. So we have that 7 waves down, and usually when you get that impulse up, you sort of, wane out a lot. So here's an example. Here's a great example right here on XRP. So check this out. This could be, now I've never shown this before, so this could be what theta's doing. But regardless, don't look at it as a bad thing. Look at it as a blessing in disguise. Look at it as, yes, this is great. I can have more time to accumulate. If this idea works out, this is a good thing because it gives you more time. And then when theta does hit those higher prices, you have much more to show for it, right? So basically, this right here is kind of where we are. So think about theta being right in here, or right in here. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, just like theta. And then it comes up, right? We impulse up, and then you sort of wane down. Look how long it took. It waned all the way down, and then it got that impulse to the upside. So it came up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Or I'm sorry, the impulse wave came up to wave 5, to the previous degree. So again, same thing with theta, right? You could see this impulse came to this 5th wave here. So according to this theory, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, here's 5, then I'm sorry, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right, sorry, yeah, 6. It comes up to wave 6 to this degree here, which it did with XRP. Then it sort of wanes down and then goes. So I'm kind of liking that idea. And basically, it gets down to that, 84 cent area, but it just takes forever, right? You get down to that 75, 85 cent area, like I've been thinking. If this is a deeper correction, and if we do break below the bull market support band, the difference is it just takes some time. So you can see, and maybe we get one more high. Well, maybe we get one more high, but basically look at it like that. And then, this oscillation in here, and then we go. Something like that. And then it gets us down and it back tests this area down in here, right? So that's sort of actually one of my top ideas, because it's still confluent with the other idea, which is to say it's the same idea. The difference is how long this correction takes. The main idea is to say this is 1, 2, and we're gonna go. That's the main idea. The difference is, how long does it take for us to go? Now the correction come down here, then go. It come here, then go. It can be done now and then go, right? It's all relative to time and how long it takes. That's the difference. They're all the same ideas. The difference is when, right? So usually when you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? Usually you get this waning sort of correction after that first impulse, and then you accelerate big time. So regardless of what happens, it's very exciting to be a theta hodler, looking at much higher prices to come, but not tomorrow or next week, or it's relative to time, like I said. So it could take several months, right, before that thing can go, or going back to that, like I said, that flat pattern, we can start getting out of here quickly, right? It's not to say that it has to do this long correction. It can be an A, B, C, a short correction, then go, or it could be a longer correction and then go. This one goes and this one goes. They both go. The difference is, like I said, time. So expecting higher prices, just gotta wait until this correction ends. And right now I'm looking at it as a flat. Let's rule out what it's not. And the way we do that is, let's see how it reacts the rest of the week going into February. Let's see if this bull market support band holds and we start to just curl up and get out of here, right? But regardless of what happens, this is a correction and we're waiting. So until we break the range, we really don't know. We can guess with different patterns and Elliott waves, for example, the flat, or that's basically the only count for Elliott wave I have right now, is that flat, but also a 1, 2. Right, so we're waiting for 2 to finish, but that's it. I'll get more into detail as we have more, but if you want to know the very short term, I think we're bullish short term. I think we can be bullish short term. We balance out here, maybe retrace this high, so we come down, retrace it, and then maybe come back down, test it. So A, B, C, something like that. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then go, right? Or it could be a much bigger complex correction. For example, it can be an A, B, C, and then another A, B, C, which would be like a big W, X, Y, a much bigger three-way move, right? So it'd be boom, boom, boom. It'd be a big three-way move. Or like that channel I said. And then we go, right? Somewhere around that 80 cent area, 85, 75 cent area. So the reason why I don't really entertain it, I mean, I like to go over it and keep people, you know, in case it happens, but we still got plenty of time. So there's no sense of taking it seriously when we're not even near that phase yet. So let's, you know, we just got to have patience and let the weeks go and the months go and the days go and see where we are, and then we can rule out what it's not. So there you go, guys. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Again, if you're a hodling theta, you got nothing to worry about, I don't think. I mean, think if you're ever discouraged about what the price is doing, all you got to do is just think about what it is you're holding. You got to know what you hold. If you know what theta really is and you're invested in what it really is, the fundamental intrinsic value, and what the future lies and the implications of how this technology and what it is, right? This is not a fundamental channel, but you know what theta is, right? Then, you know, that's sort of what gets me by these sort of delays in price action. But nonetheless, we're just in a range, right? This is accumulation. We have a down move, we have accumulation, waiting for that up move, plain and simple. Once we get up here, then we figure out the next move. But until then, just got to be patient. So again, thank you guys. I will catch you on the next one. Cheers.